Hi everyone, welcome to Java Fever. So today we are going to learn new topic which is microservices. So what is microservices we are going to understand in this video tutorial. So microservices is nothing, it's a approach, it's a architecture. Okay, so we can use this architecture and we can develop our application. You can use this approach, you can use this architecture and you can develop real-time application with the help of uh, any language. Like if you are using Java, you can use with the help of the Java, you can develop, you can use microservice architecture and develop with the help of Python, .NET, any language you can take and you can develop. So we are going to cover topic. First topic, what is microservices architecture and what is monolithic architecture, and then why is microservices, why we require this microservices, and then monolithic versus microservices application, how can we develop microservice application. So if you want to understand microservices architecture, then we have to also understand monolithic architecture, then it will be easy to understand microservices. Okay, so what is the drawback to use monolithic architecture, and nowadays people are using microservices. Okay, most of the companies are using microservices approach to develop applications. Okay, so firstly we are going to understand what is microservices architecture. So microservices architecture is a modern way to design software applications where the system is divided into many small independent services. Okay, so in this approach we divide our application into many small independent services. Okay, each application perform a specific business function. This is the one line of explanation of the microservices. So we divide the big application into small independent service. Okay, and each service perform a specific business function. What is monolithic architecture? So we are going to understand. So in one line you can say monolithic architecture is an approach where all the features, components and business logic of an application are tightly combined into one unified code base and are deployed together as a single executable package. Okay, so just now we seen the microservices architecture, but in case of monolithic architecture, so all the features, components and business logic of an application are tightly combined. Okay, so we are going to understand monolithic architecture and microservice architecture based with the help of this picture. Okay, this with the help of this graph. So this is the monolithic architecture. If you want to design any application, so you can choose any approach. Previously most of the companies used this monolithic architecture to develop application, but nowadays companies are using microservices architecture to develop the any real-time application. So so this is the user interface, this is a business logic and data access layer. So this is one application. Inside this application all the logics are tightly coupled and there is one database for this one application. Okay, but if you in case of microservice architecture, so you can break your business logic in multiple functionality, multiple module, and you can make one a microservice for your uh, any module. Okay, or any functionality. Like if you are going to develop a user service, okay, so you can make user service. If you are going to make payment service, you can make payment service. If you are going to notification service, you can create one microservice for notification service. So like this you can create multiple microservices. Okay, if you want to create the login service, you can create login service. Okay, if you want to create a payment service, you can create payment service. So multiple service you can create based on function. Okay, with the help of microservices architecture. And mm, these are the databases. Okay, so this databases is related to microservice. Okay, so one this microservices is combined with this databases. So there are separate databases for all the microservices. So in this case monolithic architecture, only one databases will be there for your one complicated application. Okay, and one deployment will be done for this application. Okay, but in this case that means a microservice architecture, you can deploy your microservices individually. Okay, this microservices you can deploy individually, this microservices you can deploy independently. Okay, so so you can deploy your own microservices independently. Okay, and this is user interface. That means that you can use UI to communicate, to send your request and response, HTTP request and response to your microservices, and all the microservices can combine with the help of the synchronous call and asynchronous call. Okay, so there is two way to send the request and response between two microservices to communicate. So later we will understand everything. Okay, so for now this is the way to design microservice architecture, and this is the previously we used to use this monolithic architecture. Now companies, most of the companies like Netflix, Uber are using this microservices architecture, even Google, Microsoft. So this is another picture by which we can also understand monolithic architecture and microservices architecture. Okay, so in case of microservice architecture, this is the product service, this is the order service, this is the user service and payment service. So we have multiple microservices. So this is one service, this is one service, this is one service, and this is one service. So we have multiple microservices to achieve same kind of thing that you done in monolithic architecture. Okay, that means all the logic which you have written in microservice architecture will be is already written in monolithic architecture, but all are tightly coupled. Okay, all business logic are tightly coupled. Okay, so in this monolithic architecture we written like user interface, okay, a business logic, data access layer and shared database. Okay, so that means that we are using shared database for all the logics. There is no separate database like microservices. Here see, for product service we are using product DB, for order service we are using order DB, for user service we are using user DB. That means that we have multiple microservices and we have multiple databases. Okay, we are not using single databases, so we have flexibility to use multiple database in microservices architecture, but there is no flexibility to use multiple databases in monolithic architecture. Okay, now we are going to understand why is microservices. Okay, why people are using microservices, why most of the companies are using microservices architecture nowadays. Okay, you can use any languages. Okay, like Java, PHP, .NET, Python. You can use any language and you can achieve this microservices architecture. Okay, so first, better scalability. Okay, microservices allow you to scale only the part of application that needs more power. This avoids scaling the whole system and save cost while improving performance. Okay, so in future if you want to scale your like payment microservice or product microservice. Okay, so you can create multiple instances of that microservices. Okay, so it is possible in case of the microservices. Okay, so there is a better scalability in case of microservices. Okay, faster development, so different team can work on different services at the same time. This parallel development speed up delivery and the reduced dependency between teams. So multiple team can work together to develop one application. Okay, which are divided into multiple microservices. Okay, so we have 10 microservices, so each team can work on one microservices and they will be accountable for that microservices only. Okay, so this is the better approach to develop your application. Okay, so faster development is possible in case of microservices. So independent deployment, so each service can be updated or deployed without touching other services. Okay, this reduces downtime and allow frequent safe release. So if you want to update any code in any microservice, then you can easily update. If you want to like in products microservice, if you want to update anything, okay, so you can update logic in your product microservice and you can test and you can deploy easily. Okay, so there is no need to deploy whole application if you are changing logic in product microservice. Okay, but it was not possible in monolithic application. You have to deploy all the application if you are changing any single logic in anywhere, any module. Okay, but single independent deployment is possible in case of the microservices. Okay, easy to maintain. Since each service is small and focused on one feature, it becomes easier to debug, test and modify. Okay, so it's easy to maintain. Maintenance become faster and less risky compared to large monolithic code base. Less risky, that means the if you are going to modify any code, okay, in case of monolithic, so it will impact to your all the microservice, all the code, okay, because there is no all the logic will be in one, your all the logic will be in one application, okay. But in case of product, in case of microservices, if you want to modify anything in product microservice or order microservices, so you have to only modify in your product microservices, and then um, you can deploy that one. So because of this, it is less risky compared to large monolithic code base, okay. If any error is coming, so that will come in for your product microservice, okay. It will not impact to other microservices. Fifth point, technology flexibility. So every microservice can use the tech stack that suit it best: Java, Python, Golang, okay, etc. This gives freedom to choose the right tool for right job, okay. That means in microservices you can develop your microservices with the help of different language, okay. Let's see, if you are going to develop user service in Java language, with the help of Java language, then you can develop. If you are going to use Python for your login service, then you can use, okay. If you are going to use .NET for your payment service, then you can use, okay. So with the help of any how can we communicate? So with the help of the synchronous call, asynchronous call, you can communicate between all the microservices. So this is possible in case of microservices architecture. In future, if any language is going to outdated, then in that scenario you can use other languages which will be, so you can use other language to develop that microservices. So this is the advantage of microservices architecture, okay. But in case of monolithic architecture, we have to develop all the logics again in different technology, okay. So 6 point, fault isolation. If one microservice fails, like payment, okay, the rest of application keeps running, okay. This increase reliability and ensure a better user experience, okay. So we have an option for fault isolation in case of microservices architecture, okay. That means anything is failing in payment microservices, the rest of application keeps running, okay. It will not impact to other microservices, okay. Basically we use a fault tolerance mechanism to achieve this, okay. Improved performance. Individually service can be optimized, cached or scaled based on specific needs, okay. This result is faster response time and a smoother system performance, okay. So individual service can be optimized, cached, okay. If you want to cache your application, okay, if you are getting multiple engagement to your application, if you want to cache, that means the response time should be better, okay. So in that scenario you can use cache like Redis or any other cache you can use, okay, like ES cache, Redis, to achieve cache, okay. And you can improve your performance of your microservices application, individual micro. So there is no need to put a cache related thing for all the microservices. If you want to put only for one application, then you can put for one application, okay. So this is possible in microservices architecture. So 8 point, we are going to discuss reusability. Common services like login, payment, user management, notification can be reused across system. This reduces duplication and development effort, okay. Login, user management, okay, like common microservices you can use, okay. So no need to redevelop your already developed code, okay. So you can reuse your microservices. So reusability is also possible in microservices. Better CI/CD support. So microservices work well with DevOps practices, enabling continuous testing, integration and development, okay. This supports rapid release and better software quality. That means better CI/CD support is also available in microservices architecture, okay. So you are getting if you want to change any logic in one microservices, then you can change and you can test and you can deploy individually that microservices. Okay, you can use Docker, GCP, Kubernetes, and AWS, anything to CI/CD to deploy your application, your microservices application. Okay, easier team ownership. Each team owns one microservices, making responsibility clear and organized. So team move faster and make this decisions independently. Okay, so one team can take accountability of one microservices. Okay, so this is possible, this is easy to maintain, it is and easy to take ownership for your microservices. So these all are the advantages of microservices. So why people are using microservices nowadays? We will discuss everything, all the points. So we are going to understand difference between monolithic architecture and microservices architecture. Okay, so first feature we are going to understand structure. So single and unified application. Okay, and in case of the microservices architectures, multiple independent small services will be there. In case of deployment, if you compare, entire app deployed at once. Okay, so all the application you have to deploy at once. And in case of microservices, each service deployed independently. You can deploy each service independently. Just now we discussed scalability, scale whole system together. We have to scale whole system together and scale only the required service. Okay, in case of development, solo teams depend on each. Okay, and in case of microservices, fast parallel development by team, code base size, large tightly coupled code. And in case of microservices architecture, a small modular loosely coupled. Okay, technology stack, one tech stack for whole application. If you want to develop, then we have to develop with the help of one tech stack for all the application, for whole application. And in microservices, each services can use different stack, different technology. So fault isolation, one failure can impact entire application, and failure isolation to one service, it will not impact to other microservices. Testing, harder due to big code, easier due to small modules in case of microservices. Maintenance, complex and risky in case of monolithic. In case of microservice architecture, simple and manageable. Performance wise, can become slow as app, and in case of microservices, optimize service wise performance. Okay, database, single shared database in case of monolithic. And microservices, each service can have its own DB. Okay, and in case of team ownership, one team handles entire application, and each team in case of the microservice architecture, each team owns one microservice. In case of scaling cost, expensive due to whole app, and in case of microservices, whole effective selective scaling. In case of flexibility, low flexibility. In case of microservices, high flexibility and agility. Okay, so these are the difference between monolithic architecture and microservices. So this is a tabular form, so it is easy to understand feature wise. Okay, so now we are going to understand how can we achieve microservices architecture in Java with the help of Java. Okay, so how can we achieve? So this is your request part. Okay, so your request will come from Android, iOS or Windows, etc. Okay, this is a browser like desktop. From desktop also your request may come. Okay, and third party integration, that means that any other service may integrate with your application. Okay, so you are getting a request from all these things. Okay, and now your request is coming to, this is the Spring Cloud Gateway. This is a gateway, API gateway. So we can achieve with the help of the Spring Cloud. If you are using the Spring, with the help of the Spring Boot, we can achieve microservices architecture in with the help of Java. Okay, with the help of the Java technology. So we have to use the Spring Cloud Gateway. Okay, and or you can use the Joule also. Okay. We have Joule also to achieve, or you can use a Spring Cloud Gateway. So it's route to your proper microservices. Okay, and you can also make login microservices. You are making this API gateway as a login microservice. Okay, and then we have from there, from this API gateway, your request will go to your microservices. So this is microservices 1, microservices 2, microservices 3, microservices 4, and microservices 5. Okay, so we can achieve load balancing with the help of fin client. Okay, and then with the help of the config server, we can write your all the configuration, like all the properties file in GitLab. And this is the Eureka. You can use the Netflix Eureka to register your all the service discovery. So these are all the 5 microservices. So you can register all the microservices in your service discovery and discovery. Okay, so you can use Netflix Eureka, and you can use Hystix or Resilience 4J to achieve this fault tolerance. Okay, and you can use my message broker also. Okay, for like Kafka you can use, Apache Kafka, or Camel you can use, or RabbitMQ you can also use. So message, why we need this Kafka or Rabbit Camel? Actually we use a tool for asynchronous call. Okay, if you want to communicate between all the microservices, so we can do with the help of the synchronous or asynchronous call. So if you are doing asynchronous call, then you have to use Kafka. If you are doing synchronous call, then you can use REST template. And this is the distributed logging and tracing. So with the help of the Sleuth, Zipkin, ELK stack, you can do your distributed logging and tracing. Okay, you can also use other tech like open telemetry you can also use. Okay, and this is Spring Boot admin UI actuator you can use, and then Spring Data. Okay, for database related logic. Okay, for ORM related logic you can use Spring Data, and this is your DB. Okay, so DB you can use multiple DB based on your microservice and based on your requirement. So this is a small architecture of your microservices in Java. How can you achieve microservices in architecture? So you have to follow all these things, okay, to make a microservices based application in Java. I hope you understood all the points which I have discussed in entire video. So this was a small video. There I was trying to make you understand the microservices, what is microservices, and why people are using microservices in most of the companies. Okay, most of the companies are using microservices nowadays. So thanks for watching. If you are loving my effort, please like, share and subscribe. Bye everyone.